Hey everyone, this is Jaden Dunn from Kiss My Glass Antiques, and today we're actually going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a Q&A. I haven't introduced myself really on this channel since we had it, and today I decided to ask my Instagram followers questions that they would like to know about me and, our glass collection. And see what they wanted to know so that we could get to know each other better. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm using my phone to record, so I wrote down the questions on this comp book. So if you see me looking down, I'm just reading it. Okay. So first, I did read these questions just to make sure what order would make the most sense. So we're going to start with, how long have you been collecting and what is your most prized item? So I have technically been collecting since 2019, which is when I got my first vase. But I would say the collection really took off last year around May. So May of 2022. So I've been collecting since 2019, but really started last year. How many years is that? 2020? 4 years? I think I've been collecting for 4 years. I think it was July of 2019 when I got my first vase. And what's your most prized item? Well, that would actually be the very first vase I got, so let me get it for you and show you. Okay guys, so I just gave back to get it in the picture, but this is my most prized item and was my very first vase. And this guy right here is an Ellie Smith pineapple bud vase. It is bittersweet, which is super cool, and these are a little hard to find. Here's the mouth. So this is my very first vase, and this is my most prized item. Okay, so that answers that question, and that question was, how long have I been collecting and what was my most prized item? Moving on to the next question. What got you started collecting glass? So, actually, this vase, so what we just talked about, was what got me started collecting glass. I lived in Salem at the time, Salem, Missouri, which is where my parents live. And so my mom was like, she was working in Columbia, Missouri, which is up by Jefferson City, the capital. And she said, I was out today while she was working up there because she's a travel nurse. And she said, I was out today and I walked past this shop and it had the coolest 70s mid-century modern vase. And you really need to come see it. I wish I should have got a picture of it, but I couldn't really get a picture. And I was like, okay. So I went back with her when she went back from over the weekend, and I stayed with her in Columbia. And she took me to the shop, and this shop was like a call-based shop, so you had to call the number on the door to have someone come in and open the store for you, and this was in 2019. So, we got there, and my mom didn't know that, but we called the lady. She said, okay, I'll be there around 5 or something, and we were like, okay, we'll see you then. We'll wait for you. We'll see you then. So we waited. She showed up, and we went in, and we started shopping, and I was like, okay, I have to have that. And so I picked this one out, and there was actually another one. One second. There was actually another vase there, and it was a Ellie Smith red ribbed vase, which has since been broken, unfortunately, but that's okay, and we do still have the vase. But so we got this one and another one. And that's what got me started collecting. That was my very first pieces of glass, my very first swung vases, and that was back in July of 2019. So that's the story of how I got started collecting vases. Well, glass in general, because we all know I collect other things than vases. Okay, so that was question number 2. And then our next question is, do you have any pets? Clearly, you can see that I have some pets. This is one of our kitties. His name is Django, and he loves to eat my hair. So that's cool. And then we also have some other kitties. We have 6 kitties, and we have 1 dog here. And at my parents' house, we have more kitties. My grandma has a dog. She lives right next to us. And we also have horses, a parrot, a gecko, and I think that's it. And fish. And we have a fish here too. So I do have pets. We are animal lovers here. So that answers that question. Next one. What is your favorite find to date? I think that means glassware. I'll take it as glassware. So I already showed you my favorite, which is right here, which is this Ellie Smith pineapple butt. But I'm going to show you my next favorite prized glass piece. Let me get it for you 1 second. Okay, so my favorite find to date, other than this guy right here, is actually this very rare Viking duck covered candy dish. It is in the amber colorway, of course. I'm sure you can see that. And Viking has many of these that are long-tailed birds. So the duck would be a long-tailed bird, which I don't have an example of to show you. I'm sorry. But the candy, or the duck covered candy dish, is a lot harder to find. So if you're interested, I actually got this guy a really good price. I paid about half price for him. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I got him about half off retail, and he is just my second favorite item that I have, actually. So if I could only keep 2 items, it would be this guy right here and the duck covered candy dish. I also have just a amber duck. Alright, let's look at the next question. What is my favorite hobby? So other than glass collecting, I actually have a few hobbies. I have a cake business on the side. I also have a crochet business on the side, and I shoot competition archery as well. So but honestly, I would say right now my favorite other pastime besides collecting glass is making cakes. So I've had a cake business for about 1.5 years now, and my mom bakes her cakes and I decorate the cakes. Mostly just around our hometown area, so we just have a small business bakery, but that would answer the question of what's my favorite hobby. Okay, my next question says, how did you start reselling? So Luke, my boyfriend, I'm sure we all know who Luke is. Luke had a reselling business on eBay when we first met, and I worked at TJ Maxx. And when you sign on at TJ Maxx, you have to sign a waiver saying that you will not sell Ray Dunn. If you guys don't know what Ray Dunn is, let me get an example, just 1 second. Okay, so Ray Dunn is this. So I'm sure you've gone out, I'm sure you've gone somewhere and you've seen this lettering. There's also another brand called Mud Pie, I believe, that has a similar writing, but Ray Dunn always has her name on the bottom like this. At least her newer stuff does. And then most of the time you'll see the mugs, which look like this. And so that's Ray Dunn, and she's just a designer, and she makes mostly ceramic items. So Ray Dunn has a humongous following, and so when you sign on at TJ Maxx, you're not supposed to buy Ray Dunn and resell it. You're only supposed to buy it for you, and you can only do it off the clock. They have a bunch of rules around it. But I knew based on that you can make a lot of money selling it. So I sold it, and I started reselling it online. And that's how I started reselling in general. And then whenever I started back up collecting swung vases in May of last year, 2022, I decided to sell the ones that I had duplicates of, unless I really wanted to keep them. So I started researching them and decided, hey, I will sell glassware. So I started selling glassware, and it was basically the same thing as selling ceramics, which is what Ray Dunn is. And so that's my story of how I got into reselling. But when I started reselling swung vases and other vintage glassware, I just really liked it. and I loved sharing my passion with other people, and I wanted the glass to get out there. So I wanted all the people that I knew that were interested in vintage to be in the same boat with me and have all the cool glass so it didn't get thrown away or broken or just, you know, destroyed somehow. So that's how I got into reselling. Look at my next question. I think we only have a few more. Okay, we have 2 more. What is your favorite pattern of vase? So my favorite brand or designer is the L.E. Smith. I really prefer the L.E. Smith over Viking, but just for vases. But I do have Viking vases as well, so don't get me wrong. My favorite pattern is the pineapple butt, like this one here. I have, you can actually see them in the background here. I have a red one right here. I have an amber one right there. And I also have a pink, blue, and red of the tiny ones. Let me get one to show you the size comparison. Okay, so here's the tiny ones. This is a pink one. I have a blue and a red also. And let me show you guys the pattern again so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the pineapple butt pattern. See it better on this one. See, it looks like a little pineapple. A lot of people do mistake these for diamond butts. They're not the same, so if you are in the market for one, please pay attention to that. You can always ask me on Instagram. You can send me a picture of the vase you're interested in, and I can let you know what pattern it is if I know. Most of the time I do know, and if I don't know, I'll send it to somebody who will probably know. So we can figure that out for you. But yes, this is my favorite style. It is the L.E. Smith pineapple butt. And here you guys can see the size comparison between the pink one, it's this tall, and the bittersweet one, which is the large size of them. Last question, I think. What's your favorite color glass? So, my favorite color glass is actually bittersweet, which is what this colorway is. It's a yellow and orange and sometimes white mixed together. And so, but those are only made by L.E. Smith. So if we're going to go with a general color that almost every glassmaker has, I would say it's amber. Amber is my second favorite next to bittersweet. And I know you guys know what amber is, but I guess I can show you. Here, I'll show you the duck again. So the duck is amber. This duck is more of a honey amber, which is a light amber. And then I'll show you the root beer colored amber. Root beer is my favorite. Okay, here's my root beer one. So root beer is more of the brown tone. This is an L.E. Smith smoothie. Try to get it all the way in the picture. This is my second favorite vase. This one being my first favorite vase, my very favorite swung vase, and of course this one being my second. This is, again, an L.E. Smith smoothie, and I believe it's just shy of 30 inches tall. I got this from a friend on Instagram. I won it in an auction. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a little different and I know it was a little rough. It's my first one, so just bear with me. I hope you guys stayed through the whole thing, and if you did, like and subscribe, please. And go check out our Instagram to keep up with all our buys, all our adventures. And also, because then you'll be able to ask me questions for our next Q&A, which you guys let me know in the comments when you want another one. If you guys want to ask me questions, you can just message me on Instagram. Don't have to wait for me to ask you guys for questions. So thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.